Hi guys, I'm Lori.
I'm David.
And this is Mermaid and Jedi Adventures. So today on Mermaid and Jedi Adventures, we're going to be talking about our top 5 Magic Kingdom rides.
Yes, now with Magic Kingdom is basically the biggest park, and there's so many rides at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
We can't come to a consensus on our top 5, so we're going to each have our own top 5.
And we also have a couple of honorable mentions because we couldn't even fit them into our top 5.
Yeah, basically we won't make this a top 10, but in fairness, the other parks made it a top 5.
Yeah. I was going to say we're cheating. I mean, it's not like this is some sort of like rules. We just made up these rules, but we do have a couple of honorable mentions as well. So let's go. You go 5, I go 5.
Yeah, sure, we'll do that, sure. My number 5 is the Jungle Cruise. I like the Jungle Cruise because it's it's bad jokes, but it's bad punny jokes. It's kind of fun. It's a good ride to go on. It changes each time depending on whoever's the skipper is, because they'll say different jokes and say different things in a different way, and it's kind of a fun ride to go on. It's kind of like a classic ride, and I just like it because of the bad puns, and they're bad and you kind of groan at them, but they're kind of funny too.
My number 5 is Peter Pan's Flight. I really like the ride. It's great. The new interactive queue that they have is awesome. Just going through like the Darlings playroom and the bedroom, getting to the ride. You're basically sort of in a boat that sails over top of London and into Never Never Land. You see the pirates, you see everybody. The reason why it's not a little bit higher up on my list is for 2 reasons. Despite it being a fabulous ride, it is a very short ride. I think I timed it at just over 2 minutes for the actual ride, which is one of the shortest Disney rides, or the shortest, I think. Second of all, the longest queues. It is not unusual for this queue to be 90 to 2 hours for wait time.
I think it's part of the reason it's a good ride for families and kids, and it's like the adults like the ride itself, so it's a ride that's kind of makes it long because of that. I
remember when we went last time around Christmas or at the beginning of December, I remember seeing the wait time at 180 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I thought, who's going to wait for 180 minutes? But a lot of people do.
Yeah, we don't really catch that at the end, our extra magic hours in the evening. It's kind of our last ride of the night. Because nobody's kind of waiting around, we get right on it.
That's a good tip actually, because I mean you can use a fast pass on it, or if you want the first thing when the extra magic hours are just when the park's open, if you sort of race there, you're maybe looking at a 15-minute wait or a 20-minute wait versus hours. The second tip, like David said, is extra magic hours, the late night ones when it's like 10 to midnight or later, because a lot of the kids go home, the little kids go home after the fireworks. That is an excellent time for some of the kids' rides or some of the more like the Fantasyland rides, because I think we maybe waited 15 or 20 minutes, which was just the right amount of time to take in the interactive queue before we went on the ride. So that's my number 5.
All right, my number 4 is Buzz Lightyear's Major Spin. I think that's the name of the Disney World one. It's like I think Astro Blasters is the California.
Yeah.
The Disneyland
Space Ranger Spin, that's the one at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, so basically Space Ranger Spin is you're in a little car and you kind of spin around, and it's the spinning ride's not the main attraction. It's basically shooting the targets. That's the main attraction. What I like about it is it's another kind of one of those games where you're kind of competing with somebody in your car with you, and we always seem to get on really quickly. There's like early morning, there's no lines. We get on it 3 or 4 times, and the fun thing about this ride is if you can get the max score. It's like 909, like a bunch of 9s.
999,999.
Yeah, basically.
One less than a million.
Yeah, basically it cuts off at 4 million, but if you get all the way up to max score, you get a Galactic Hero pin.
Yeah.
We kind of cheated the last time we got our pin. The ride kind of stopped.
I don't say that's cheating. I say that was divine intervention because we were paused for a good solid like 10 or 15 seconds in the exact right spot to hit like a 10,000. Or even maybe it was 50,000 target, like at the top corner, one of the hard ones to reach. So ourselves and then like the set of teenage boys,
the car behind us got it
as well, and boy were they excited.
It's fun though. If you can get a max score and tell everybody at the end of the ride you got the max score, they make a big fanfare about it. It's like, attention, space cadets, we have Galactic Heroes in our presence, and everybody claps. It's kind of
And
fun.
they present you with your pin, and it says, Galactic Hero on
Yeah,
it.
it's basically, I've always liked the ride because I always want to try to keep getting that score gain, but it's hard to do when it's constantly moving.
Exactly. My number 4 is Bix Intermountain. So, actually, honestly, my top 5 could be in any different order depending on my mood in the day. They're all my favorite rides. But Bix Intermountain is definitely one of my top favorites. I think I'll tell you the good things, and then I'll tell you one maybe a little bit of a drawback, which put it to number 4. So, excellent roller coaster. It's no upside down or loop de loops. It's just basically a runaway train is what it feels like. The theming is great. The queue theming is good as well. The lines can be a little long, but usually several times a day you can get in there with a 20-minute or half an hour or less wait time. The drawback to this ride is the queue is hot as heck. I don't know what it is, but the fans don't seem to do anything. If anything, they just seem to blow humidity at you. But it's kind of an enclosed space, and then you kind of go down to load onto the train, and it is so hot, and there's no air movement at all. So a 20-minute, half an hour wait, I don't know how people wait for an hour, can seem like forever when you have sweat trickling down your entire body. But I mean, the ride itself is great. It's just that queue line I don't know, it must just be the location in the park. There's no tree shade or anything, and there's not a lot of wind that can get to it, so it's very hot. But overall, that ride is fantastic.
Yeah,
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is kind of, I guess, a little bit similar in fashion, but I like Big Thunder because there's no starting and stopping. It's just go.
yeah.
Number 3.
My number 3 is Pirates of the Caribbean. It's basically one of the classic rides at Disney World. It's you're kind of going through in the big boat and kind of there's a drop down. It's not that big of a drop, but it's kind of drop down. You see a bunch of seeing. I love the kind of the animatronics kind of thing going around, and there's so much stuff to see and watch. It's kind of interesting.
Every time we go, you kind of seen something different.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Haunted Mansion. We may have a couple of duplicates.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Haunted Mansion. With Haunted Mansion, it's a thing as well. Depending on where you are or where you're looking at or which side of the dune buggy you're sitting on, I seem to see something new and cool every time we go. So basically you queue through, the queue moves fairly fast as well. One of the cute things is that instead of it saying 5 minutes or 10 minutes, they have 13 minutes a lot of times. If it says 13 minutes, because it's a spookier number, it's pretty much a walkthrough. Even if it says 10 or 15, there's barely a wait at all because it takes quite a length of time to walk through and sort of check out the graveyard.
Well, yeah, when it says wait time's 10 minutes, it's basically 10 minutes to walk.
10 minutes to walk through.
Basically walk through it because there's so much stuff to see and do. Then you're basically waiting to get up to the main doors, basically.
Yeah. Then you go through an elevator that's cool. You get on these dune buggies, and it tours you through the Haunted Mansion and the graveyard. So it's one of those rides that I don't know if it'd be great for little tiny kids, although we've seen lots of pretty small kids on there. They're fine to sit on there, to sit on the dune buggies. It's just the content-wise, there's nothing very gory. It's just pop-outs, kind of scares, and maybe some scary scenery. But that's definitely one of my faves.
Mm-hmm. All right, so for number 2, my number 2 is Bix Intermountain. I like it because of the fast movement you're going through. I like roller coasters, but I don't really like loops, so it's perfect for that. What I like about Bix Intermountain is there's kind of two sides. It's kind of like left and right side. They're very similar, but it's just kind of which way you turn.
Yeah.
So that's, you go on both sides, and it's kind of a similar ride, but a little bit different. Yeah. But what I really like about it is it's a vastly different ride from day and night.
Yes. Good call.
When you're during the day, it's kind of cool and you're seeing everything, but at night, just you're coming out the opening, and then you're kind of going down when it's night. You see all the lights up and everywhere, and it's really nice and interesting to look at. And then you're kind of looking around and seeing all the interesting things at night. Also,
a lot of times we've caught some of the fireworks going off when we've been on that, which is cool as well.
Yeah. So that's kind of I like Bix Intermountain for those reasons, and most of the time when I go on it, it's we're not big of a line, so I don't worry about the 20-minute waits and getting too hot kind of thing. I try to go on it when it's not much of a wait, maybe 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. My number 2 is Pirates. I really like Pirates. It's one of those rides that it's a cool little boat ride. You know, there's a couple of like little falls, like you're going down in the dark, kind of free, not free falling, I guess, but going over falls or a steep slope down. I really like the animatronics. I like the pirate theming. I like the music. It's just, it's a cool ride to go on. And again, it's a nice sort of relaxing cool down ride to go on.
It's cool down ride, mostly underground for
and
the
it's
most part.
classic Disney. I mean, I remember going on, you know, being a little kid in Disneyland and going on that ride and thinking how awesome it was.
Yeah.
It's good for our kids of all ages.
It's a good ride.
And then our number one.
All right, so my number one is Space Mountain. I tried taking Lori on Space Mountain one time, and it was so jerky and fast. Like I was so worried about Lori's back, I couldn't enjoy the ride. But when I'm by myself, it's a good ride to go on. It's nice. It's another one of those nice fast rides, and it's the fun thing about it. It's kind of being dark and low visibility. You're not seeing where things are coming up, so it's kind of fun. And then there's like the sounds that are going, and it's kind of everything. It makes it fun. If you can go during early magic hours, you can be able to get on early by yourself. And I was lucky enough to get on by myself, so I was the only one in the car, and it was hilarious because it was so fun being by myself.
It's funny. It's not that I don't like roller coasters or jerky rides or all the rides that I always go thumbs down to. It's just that a number of years ago I hurt a couple of discs in my back, so I have to be really careful. Not that I'll necessarily re-herniate it, but if it flares up and it's... The worst that's happened is I've been sore for a day, like a day or two or a day and a half, but you know, when you only have a select amount of time at Disney, you don't want to be like, you know, kind of taking it easy. You want to just be able to go. So I just try to avoid it when I can. The funniest part, or how I really actually, I did not like Space Mountain because it was a little bit jerky. It was totally fine though. It actually didn't. And maybe it was a little bit, I think because I was tensing up a little bit sore, but it was okay. And one of those, okay, I got on it once, that's fine for me. I think the thing that made the ride for me was that I was sitting in the front, and I had a lady in a very southern lady in the front, like sitting in front of me, that was saying, "Oh Lordy," every time we would go over something. I had David behind me apologizing. "Oh, sorry, hun." Every time we'd have it like a sharp turn or something that would be jerky, David would go, "Oh no," or apologize to me throughout the whole time we were going. So I was sort of like quietly laughing to myself and just, you know, going through the ride. It was totally fine, and I know as like before I had hurt my back, like I really did enjoy it. It's a great ride. But it tends to kind of hurt my back and sometimes give me a little bit of a headache. I don't know if that's because it is kind of jerky, but so that's why I don't like Space Mountain, but how I sort of enjoyed that one experience because it was so funny. So my number one, I don't know if you'll be surprised about this if you've seen some of our other videos, but my number one is the People Mover. Sometimes I think I should be like 65 or 80 or just have a I'm lame shirt all the time, but I really do like the slow moving rides, and I think the reason why I do is because how I enjoy Disney is not by the thrill rides, but by the people watching and the Disney experiences. And that People Mover, like, it's just perfect to take in all of Tomorrowland, get that really good look at the castle. I've been lucky enough to catch a couple of times the fireworks going off. People watching, having a cool breeze, you know, taking a look at people because you go through different rides in Tomorrowland, being able to sort of like experience Space Mountain that way, and that's, you know, how I enjoy it. So the People Mover is definitely, it's something that we enjoy together, but it's definitely maybe a little extra fun for me because when David is going on Space Mountain or doing something a little faster, I can just go on there a couple of times. Because there's never really a lineup unless you're going on one of the, you know, Dapper Day or one of like the major days that they have during the year, or maybe even in the summertime. But when we've gone, it's a walk on, and for the most part, I think actually every time, if I can't see David, you know, leaving Space Mountain because he's gone on single rider, then I just say, "Can I go on again?" And they say okay. And one time I went on, I think 3 or 4 loops just going through before I finally got off. But so those are our top 5. Now we do have a couple of honorable mentions because again, we just couldn't.
Basically, yeah. There's so many rides at Disney World, Magic Kingdom. It's hard to make a top 5. Like, pretty much my honorable mentions would be like almost, I could almost put in at number 5 or number 4 kind of thing. For me, my honorable mention.
I can't read the honorable mention.
My honorable mention is for the people. I like the People Mover Haunted Mansion ride. What I like about the People Mover, it's one of the biggest rides. It's like, well, not the biggest. It's one of the longest rides in Magic Kingdom. So it goes around a lot, kind of thing, and you see so much stuff, you see so much stuff, and it's kind of a fun ride to be on.
Sorry, I had to. I couldn't read David's writing, so I had forgotten what I had said. So my one of my honorable mentions, which again is interchangeable with anything, is Splash Mountain. Now, Splash Mountain is a classic Disney. It's one of those nice rides where I don't know if it's always busy, but I think if you haven't been on it, you may not know what it's all about. It's not just that giant splash at the end. You basically get in your log and you go through and you see Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox and their adventures. Lots of animatronics, there's lots of music, and then there is that big splash at the end. You don't get particularly wet unless you're sitting in the front couple of rows. When we've been 3, 4, and 5, we've been totally fine for the most part. Actually, that's at Disney, so I'm lying to you. The 3 and 4 are the ones where we haven't gotten wet in Walt Disney World, where you're sitting side by side. So, a little bit of a sprinkle. Again, if you have electronics, maybe put them in a sandwich bag or a plastic bag or a garbage bag, or wrap your poncho around it. You'll be fine. You'll dry off okay, but just protect your ID, your money, and your electronics for the most part. And then you have another honorable mention?
I got the two of them. I had just people moving around Haunted Mansion.
Okay. My second one is, again, this is one that's interchangeable, is the Walt Disney World Railroad. So the railroad that goes around, all around Magic Kingdom. Fabulous. It's nice for a couple reasons. I like to just get on and do a whole circuit sometimes. Again, if David's going on something fast, I've gotten on by myself and just rode it all the way around and come back and got off and had him be finished his fast pass for something. Also, we've gotten on it together, just cruised around. He picks up a nice breeze. You can just sit down for a bit. And sometimes as well, it's nice, especially depending on what part of the day is, to just give your feet a break and just kind of shortcut it. So, take the it around to, is it Adventureland? Frontierland, I believe, because it's right by Splash Mountain. And that way you can take it from Main Street all the way over there. And then, go to Splash Mountain, go to Big Thunder Mountain. It's a short trek to, like, Pirates from there. Or you can take around all the way to the Storybook Circus, get off there, and then you're right in Storybook Circus, and then it's a short walk to Fantasyland. So you can save your feet as well. It's also a great way to people watch and just to take everything in.
Yeah, there has been a few occasions where we've kind of been around the lap 3 or 4 times just because, it's mostly for transportation to move around the park quickly, but
yes,
we've been on the we've gone 3 loops around just to do 3 loops around.
That's right. It's if you have like a cold drink or some water and you just want to sit down for half an hour, you can just stay on. You don't have to get off. Once you have a full lap or part of a lap, you can stay on as long as you want. So those are our top 5 each, plus our honorable mentions. I'm sure there's tons more. We'd love to hear what your favorites are, so please leave us a comment below and let us know what you like to do, what rides you like to go on. Please give us a thumbs up if you like this video. We also put out videos every Friday, so if you subscribe to us, you can catch more Disney adventure and information. So yeah, that's what we have for today. We'd love to hear what your favorite rides are. And that's it for now. So until we talk to you next time, take care.
Take care.